I knocked on room 847 at the Fontainebleau Miami Beach. It was 11:47 p.m. on a Friday. My wife thought I was 1,200 miles away in Chicago, buried in a work conference. I'd flown in on a red-eye, caught an Uber straight from the airport, and stood in this hallway with a dozen roses and a bottle of champagne. Surprise anniversary trip. Romantic gesture. The kind of thing that's supposed to save a marriage. The door opened, but it wasn't my wife standing there. It was a man, mid-30s, no shirt, hotel robe hanging open, champagne glass in his hand. He looked at me, I looked at him. For 3 long seconds, nobody moved. Then, from inside the room, I heard her voice. "Babe, who is it?" Babe. The man's face went from confused to pale in about half a second. He stammered. I didn't wait for an invitation. I pushed past him into the suite, and what I saw in that room, the rose petals, the candles, the open suitcase with his clothes mixed with hers, told me everything I needed to know. My wife appeared from the bedroom, wrapped in a hotel robe, hair wet from the shower. She froze when she saw me. The roses slipped from my hand and hit the marble floor. "Marcus," she whispered. "Happy anniversary," I said. If you want to know what happened in the next 60 seconds and why the man in that room ended up begging me for mercy, hit subscribe, because this story doesn't end with me walking away broken. It ends with me walking away rich. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm 39 years old and I live in Chicago. For the last 12 years, I've worked as a senior systems architect for a Fortune 500 tech company. Good salary, solid benefits, the kind of stable career that lets you build a life. My wife, Vanessa, is 37. We met in college, married at 26, and spent 13 years building what I thought was a solid marriage. 2-bedroom condo in Lincoln Park, weekend brunches, couples yoga on Thursdays. From the outside, we looked like we had it figured out. From the inside, I'd been feeling the cracks for a while. It started small. Vanessa worked in pharmaceutical sales, high-pressure job, lots of travel, conferences, client dinners. I never questioned it. That was her career. I trusted her. But about 6 months ago, something shifted. She started dressing differently for work trips. Not business professional, more like date night. New perfume, new lingerie that I never saw her wear at home. Her phone, which used to sit on the kitchen counter, now lived in her purse, face down, always. "Girls' trip to Miami," she announced one morning over coffee. "Rachel and I are going for a long weekend. We need a break." Rachel was her college roommate. I'd met her a handful of times. Seemed nice enough. "When?" I asked. "Next month, April 14th through 17th. I nodded. "Sounds fun." She smiled. "You don't mind?" "Why would I mind? You deserve a break." She kissed my cheek. "You're the best." But something in my gut twisted. April 14th was our anniversary. I didn't say anything at first. Maybe she forgot. Maybe she'd surprise me before she left. But as the trip got closer, there was no mention of our anniversary. No card, no dinner plans, just packing lists and excitement about Miami. The night before she left, I tried to bring it up casually. "Hey, you realize the 15th is our anniversary, right?" She looked up from her suitcase. "Oh, yeah, I know." Pause. "We can celebrate when I get back," she added. "Maybe that new Italian place." "Sure," I said. But the way she said it, so dismissive, so unbothered, felt like a knife. 13 years, and she was choosing a girls' trip over our anniversary. That's when I knew something was wrong. I'm not the jealous type, never have been, but I'm also not stupid. I started paying attention. I noticed she'd been texting someone named Rachel a lot, constantly, at dinner, in bed, first thing in the morning. One night, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced at it. "Rachel. Can't wait for Miami. It's been too long." Innocent enough, except I'd seen Vanessa text the real Rachel 2 days earlier. She was listed in her phone as Rachel K. This contact was just Rachel. No last name, no photo. I opened the message thread, and my stomach dropped. The messages weren't explicit, but they were familiar. Counting down the days. I miss you. Booked the suite, ocean view, just like you wanted. And then one that made my blood run cold. He has no idea. Let's keep it that way. I took screenshots, sent them to myself, deleted the evidence that I'd opened the thread. Then I put the phone back exactly where it was. When Vanessa came out of the shower, I was in bed, pretending to read. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah, just tired." She climbed into bed beside me, kissed my shoulder. "Love you," she said. "Love you too," I replied. And I meant it. But I also knew in that moment that I was about to find out just how much she didn't. The next morning, she left for the airport. I kissed her goodbye, helped her load her suitcase into the Uber. "Have fun. Be safe." "I will. Miss you already." The car pulled away. I watched it disappear around the corner. Then I went inside, opened my laptop, and booked a flight to Miami. I wasn't going to confront her over the phone. I wasn't going to wait and wonder. I was going to know. I told my boss I had a family emergency. He didn't ask questions. I packed a small bag, just enough for 2 days. Then I did something I'm not proud of. I logged into our shared cell phone account and checked Vanessa's location history. She'd been sloppy. Location services were still on. I could see exactly where she was. Fontainebleau, Miami Beach, room 847. I zoomed in on the map. Luxury hotel, ocean view suites starting at $800 a night. For a girl's trip, that seemed excessive. I checked the reservation details. Our credit card had been charged, not for one room, for a suite. And the reservation was under one name, Vanessa Webb, no Rachel. I landed in Miami at 10:30 p.m., caught an Uber straight to the hotel. The driver tried to make small talk. I didn't hear a word. My heart was pounding. My hands were shaking. Part of me hoped I was wrong, that I'd get there and find Vanessa and Rachel laughing over margaritas, and I'd feel like an idiot for doubting her. But the other part, the part that had read those messages, knew better. We pulled up to the Fontainebleau just before 11:30. I paid the driver, grabbed my bag, walked through the lobby like I belonged there. Nobody stopped me. I took the elevator to the 8th floor, found room 847, and stood outside the door for a full minute, trying to decide if I was ready for what came next. I knocked. Soft at first, then louder. I heard movement inside, footsteps, a man's voice, muffled. "I got it." The door opened, and there he was, tall, fit, probably mid-30s, no shirt, hotel robe hanging open, champagne glass in one hand. He looked at me like I was room service. Then his brain caught up. Can I help you?" I didn't answer. I just stared at him, at the robe, at the champagne, at the fact that he was standing in my wife's hotel room at midnight. From inside, I heard her voice. "Babe, who is it?" Babe. That word hit me like a freight train. The man's face drained of color. I didn't wait. I pushed past him into the suite. The room was a fantasy. Rose petals scattered across the floor, candles flickering on every surface, a bottle of champagne on ice, 2 glasses, and in the bedroom doorway, wrapped in a hotel robe, hair wet, face flushed, Vanessa. She froze when she saw me. Her mouth opened. No sound came out. The roses I'd been holding slipped from my hand and hit the marble floor with a soft thud. "Marcus?" she whispered. I looked at her, then at him, then back at her. "Happy anniversary," I said. For a moment, nobody moved. Vanessa's eyes darted between me and the man. Her brain was trying to catch up, trying to find an explanation that would make this okay. There wasn't one. "Marcus, Don't,"
I said quietly. She stepped forward. This isn't what it looks like. I laughed, actually laughed. It's not? Because it looks like you're in a hotel suite with another man on our anniversary. I can explain. Explain what? I cut her off. The rose petals? The candles? The fact that he just called you babe? The man, whoever he was, finally found his voice. Look, man, I didn't know she was married. I turned to him. Shut up. He did. I looked back at Vanessa. How long? Marcus, how long? She swallowed. 6 months.
6 months. Half a year of lies. Half a year of work trips and girls' weekends, and coming home to kiss me like nothing was wrong. Who is he? I asked. She hesitated. Who is he? His name is Jordan, she said quietly. He's a client. A client, of course. And Rachel, I asked, is she even here? Vanessa looked at the floor. No. So you lied about everything. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt me, my voice rose. You've been fucking another man for 6 months, and you didn't want to hurt me? Jordan shifted uncomfortably. Maybe you should stay right there, I said, voice cold, because we're not done. I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots I'd taken of her messages, held the screen up so she could see. I know about the texts. I know about the other trips. I know you've been planning this for months. Her face went white. I was going to ask you about it, give you a chance to come clean, but then I thought, why? I pocketed the phone. Why give you the chance to lie to my face again? Vanessa's hands were shaking. Marcus, please, we can work through this. Work through this, I repeated. Vanessa, you chose him over me. You chose a hotel suite in Miami over our anniversary. You chose to lie, to sneak around, to make me feel crazy for even suspecting. I stepped closer. There's nothing to work through. We're done. You don't mean that. I do. She started crying. Marcus, I love you. No, I said firmly, you don't, because if you loved me, you wouldn't be here. Jordan cleared his throat. Look, man, I'm sorry. I really didn't know. Didn't know what? I turned to him. That she was married or that you were the reason? He stammered. She said she was separated. She lied, I said flatly. She's good at that. I looked at Vanessa. Tell him the truth. Tell him we live together. Tell him I made you breakfast this morning before you left. She didn't answer. Jordan's face changed. Wait, you're still living together? We share a bed, I added. We share a life, or we did, until tonight. Jordan looked at Vanessa like he was seeing her for the first time. You told me she lied to you too. Welcome to the club. I turned back to Vanessa. I'm leaving. I'm going back to Chicago, and when I get there, I'm calling a lawyer. Marcus, wait! I'm taking screenshots of everything. The messages, the hotel reservation, the credit card charges, all of it. Her eyes widened. You can't! I can and I will. I grabbed my bag. Enjoy your weekend, both of you. I walked toward the door. Behind me, Vanessa sobbed. Marcus, please, don't do this. I stopped, turned. You did this, I said quietly, not me. And I walked out. I made it to the elevator before the adrenaline wore off. My hands were shaking. My chest was tight. My vision blurred. I leaned against the wall and tried to breathe. 13 years. Gone in one hotel room, in one moment. The elevator dinged. The doors opened. I stepped inside. And as the doors closed, I realized something. I wasn't broken. I was angry. I didn't go back to Chicago that night. Instead, I checked into a different hotel, a Marriott, a few blocks away. I sat on the bed, opened my laptop, and started documenting everything. Screenshots of the messages, photos of the hotel reservation, credit card statements showing charges I didn't recognize. I created a folder, labeled it
evidence. Then I did something I should have done months ago. I called a lawyer. His name was David Klein, divorce attorney, came highly recommended. I explained the situation. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "Do you have proof?" "Screenshots, photos, credit card statements. I can get more if I need to." "Good. Illinois is a no-fault state, but evidence of infidelity can still impact asset division and alimony." "She makes more than me," I said. "She's the higher earner." "Even better. That works in your favor." He paused. "Marcus, I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to get ugly. She's going to fight. She's going to try to spin this. Are you ready for that?" I thought about the hotel room, the rose petals, the man in the robe. "Yeah," I said, "I'm ready." I flew back to Chicago the next morning. Vanessa's flight wasn't until Sunday. I had the condo to myself. I moved methodically. First, I changed the locks. Legally, I couldn't keep her out. It was joint property, but I could make a point. Second, I opened a new bank account, transferred half of our joint savings, my half. Third, I canceled the credit cards in my name. Fourth, I packed her things. Not everything, just enough to make it clear. By the time she got home, there would be no ambiguity. We were done. Sunday night, I heard her key in the lock. It didn't work. She tried again, then knocked. "Marcus? Marcus, open the door." I didn't move. She knocked louder. "Marcus, I know you're in there. Please, we need to talk." I walked to the door, didn't open it. "Your things are in the storage unit downstairs. Unit 12, code is 4739. "Marcus." "Yeah," I said. "I do." I walked away from the door. She knocked a few more times, then stopped. I heard her footsteps fade down the hall, and I sat on the couch in the condo we'd shared for 8 years and felt nothing. The next morning, she was served at work. I know because David called me. "She's been served. Her attorney will reach out within 48 hours. "Good. Marcus, one more thing. She's going to try to negotiate. She's going to want to settle quickly, quietly. Don't let her." "Why?" "Because she's hiding something. I can feel it, and we need to find out what."
He was right. 2 days later, her attorney called, offered a settlement. 50-50 split, no alimony, clean break. It sounded reasonable. David said no. "We're going to discovery," he told them. "Full financial disclosure. Bank records, credit cards, employment records, everything." Vanessa's attorney pushed back. "That's unnecessary. My client is being more than fair." "Your client committed adultery and used marital funds to finance it," David interrupted. "We're going to discovery. If you want to settle, we can talk after we see the records." They hung up. David turned to me. "Now we wait." Discovery took 6 weeks, and what we found was illuminating. Vanessa hadn't just been unfaithful. She'd been stealing. Over the last year, she'd funneled $47,000 from our joint accounts into a separate account I didn't know existed. Small transfers, $500 here, $1,000 there, never enough to raise red flags, but over time, it added up. She'd been planning her exit, building a nest egg, preparing to leave. The affair wasn't a mistake. It was part of the plan. David filed an amended petition. We weren't just asking for a divorce. We were asking for restitution, for the money she'd stolen, for the emotional distress, for everything. Vanessa's attorney called within 24 hours. "We need to talk." The settlement meeting was tense. Vanessa sat across from me, eyes red, hands folded. She looked smaller than I remembered. Her attorney laid out a new offer. She'd return the $47,000, she'd waive alimony, she'd take her car, her retirement account, and walk away. I'd keep the condo, my retirement, my car. Clean break. David looked at me. "It's a good offer." I looked at Vanessa.
Why'd you do it?" She didn't answer at first. Then, quietly, "I felt trapped." "Trapped? You're a good man, Marcus. You're stable, you're kind, but I felt stuck, like my life was just happening, and I wanted more." "So you cheated." "I made a mistake." "You made a choice," I corrected. "Every text, every trip, every lie, those were choices." She looked down. "I know. And now you have to live with them." I signed the settlement, not because I forgave her, because I was done. The divorce was finalized 30 days later. I kept the condo, kept my job, kept my life. Vanessa moved to Miami. Last I heard, she and Jordan didn't last. Turns out, relationships built on lies don't have strong foundations. 6 months later, I was sitting in my condo, when I got a text from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Jordan. Can we talk?" I stared at the message for a long time. Then I blocked the number. Some conversations aren't worth having.
A year after the divorce, I met someone new. Her name is Claire. She's a teacher. She's kind, she's honest. She doesn't know the whole story, not yet, but when I'm ready to tell her, I will. Because I learned something in that hotel room in Miami. Love isn't about grand gestures or perfect moments. It's about showing up, being honest, choosing each other, every day. Vanessa stopped choosing me long before I knocked on that door, and I'm done chasing people who've already left. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever had your trust shattered, if you've ever stood in a hotel hallway wondering if you're strong enough to walk away, you are. You're stronger than you think, and you deserve someone who chooses you every single day. Hit subscribe if this story hit home. Comment, "I choose me," if you've ever had to walk away from someone who stopped choosing you. Because the best revenge isn't making them regret losing you. It's building a life so good, you forget they were ever in it.